I'm Bob Trask, and this is our weekly reset. We reset our week so that each week we have more information and better psychological, emotional, and spiritual tools to do our work. Thank you for being with me. Normally, or in the past, we started our weekly reset with a meditation. Now I'm doing a weekly meditation that's online on YouTube. So you can go meditate as many times as you want during the week. They're 5-minute meditations, and I think you'll enjoy them. So let's get right into our weekly reset. But let's just start by closing our eyes for a brief moment and getting centered. And as you're breathing in, remember that grace is space and space is grace. And you're breathing in the presence of the divine universe. You're breathing in life itself. You're breathing in love itself. Thank you. So, the past 2 months, we've been talking about creating miracles. We've been talking about you being able to get exactly what you envision, what you want from life. Now, you've heard countless motivational speakers and books and teachers that have said that you can create whatever you dream of. And that's exactly right. And yet, very few will tell us exactly how to do it. And then that's what we've been addressing each week. Not so much the philosophy of making my dreams come true, but how to make my dreams come true. Author Christy Wright said, if you don't decide what your priorities are in life, everyone else will decide for you. So what do we need to do to change, to get started in getting all the success and joy we want? The success and the joy we want. I recommend that we go back to YouTube and look at Bob Trask's weekly resets and review the calls and the talks from the 1st of January. And like, why would you do that? Because you're busy, right? You've got busy days and nights, and you have a routine that feels comfortable to you, and that's good, really good. But what if you opened a small window in that routine for something new to come in? After all, that routine, as it is now, is giving you exactly what you have rather than what you want. And if you want something different than what you have, then you have to change something about the way you're living. And I'm no different than you in this regard. I've got my routines too, and I love my routine. And another word for routine is comfort zone. I have my comfort zone, and my comfort zone gives me exactly what I have. It'll never give me what I want. In order to get what I want, I have to be able to step outside of my comfort zone. I have to do something that's different. I have to be willing to be different, to live differently. So the question is having my life work exactly the way I want it to important enough for me to invest a little bit of time each day? So I think we can start here. I think we all agree that our minds are super busy, thinking, imagining, reliving old events, watching home movies. I think that we're all busy doing that. But let me talk about the universe around us. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the physical universe. I'm talking about the invisible universe. I'm talking about that great, incredible presence that is the creative force that is in every created thing. from a rock to a tree to an eagle to a great blue whale to you and your body, and the millions and millions of cells that are being replaced constantly by the universe, by that invisible, powerful presence of creation. That universe is constantly and continually mirroring your thoughts and beliefs back to you and giving you exactly what you think of. Greek philosopher Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to. You become what you give your attention to." In his wonderful book, As a Man Thinketh, James Allen gave us absolute proof that our thoughts and beliefs are creating our experiences of life. In his book, he says, the saying, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is," not only embraces the whole of his being, you're talking about his thinking, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. We're thinking about his thinking. He literally is what he thinks. His character is the complete sum of his thoughts. Wow, that's really cool. And it's also really hot. So that means that if I can change my thoughts, if I can change my thinking, I can change my character. I can change every condition and circumstance of my life by just changing my thoughts. So today we focus on how the mirror of the universe is backing us up. The mirror of the universe is saying, "Gotcha, got your back. This is what you're thinking. This is what I give you. You know that you're creating your reality by what you think. So let me give that to you. Here it is." And the question is, are we getting what we want, or are we just getting what we have? The universe is not a dead space of space and rocks whirling around each other. It's a living being, isn't it? It's a consciousness that sees you and knows you. It birthed you, and it's flowing constantly through you, and it's mirroring back to you your thoughts and your beliefs, and it senses what you're focused on and continues to provide exactly that. And if you're one with a vision that's outside of your comfort zone, that's outside of your routine, and if you hold that vision dear with clarity and with courage and with confidence, if you hold it with clarity and courage and confidence, then the universe is already moving to fulfill your wishes. I don't know if that sounds a little bit far out. I don't know if that sounds a little too good to be true, but I thought that at one time, and now I know better because my own life has been a testament of exactly that, holding a vision with clarity, courage, and confidence, and then watching it come true again and again and again. You aren't here, my dear sweetheart, by accident. You didn't just sort of happen. I mean, there wasn't some lightning that hit some mud, billions of years ago, and then some little creatures crawled out of that and became us. We certainly have evolved from those prehistoric times. But as we've evolved, we've created consciousness. It created from the ascending chakras as they developed through our bodies, and the expanding brain, and our brain teaching us who we are. We also began to think we are our brain. We started thinking that we are our brain. And we let our brains be our masters. And see, here's the problem with that, is that the brains only know what they've experienced. They don't know what they haven't experienced. So you can't get from here to there without leaving here, but here's the only place we know. We're housebound in our brains, housebound in our thoughts, aren't we? It's going to take some courage and some innovative thinking for you to break out of that. And boy, I'm telling you, it's hard to break out of it. I know, I've been there. I've spent the last 60 years of my life breaking out of that little by little. And there is no out, there is no goal, there is no there that we reach somehow. This is a constant process through our whole life. The yin and the yang, in a sense, in our brain is holding us captive in these thoughts, in this comfort zone, in the way it is, such that we think 95% of the thoughts today that we thought yesterday, and 95% of the thoughts we'll think tomorrow are the thoughts we think today. So that's the captivity that we're in. That's where we're stuck. Um, I remember uh, a story that was written in France, in French. I think it was called The Prison. And in this prison, there were men and women and families all in this prison, and there's a big prison wall around, and there are armed guards and barbed wire at the top, and big stone walls, and there was no getting out. There was no getting out. And they all lived kind of in that prison. And they had food and they had a movie theater and they had stuff, but they couldn't get out. They were in the prison. And this one guy was really, really upset with that. And he didn't like being in prison. He wanted to get out. Now, when I'm saying prison, I want you to think comfort zone. Okay? Let's just use that analogy. So, but they were all in this together and they all agreed. They all agreed that there was walls around them. And they all agreed that they couldn't get out. And they couldn't get out, and the walls were real, and the guards were real. And one day, this guy who was just imagining that it could be different, walking along the wall, and he sees a hole in the wall. And he thought, I could get through that hole. I could get through there. So he goes back and he tells his sweetheart, I found a way out of here. I found a way we can get out. We can get out of here. And she says, well, you're crazy. This is what we have. It's dangerous. You try to get out, it'll be dangerous. You don't know what could happen. He said, I don't care what could happen. I need to be able to be more than I am. I need to be able to expand. She said, you're crazy. He said, please come with me. So he took her to the place where he saw the hole in the wall. The hole was closed. She said, see, there is no hole. And he went back and he was kind of despondent. And he said, damn it, I know there was a hole there. So he kept going back and going back. And eventually he saw the hole again. And he went through the hole. And when he went through the hole, he went into, now hear this, he went into a deep fog. There was fog all around him, but he was frightened. He thought, any moment they're going to come after me. Any moment I'm going to be captured. But he kept going and going and going through the fog. And finally he fell into a ditch. And he's in this ditch and he fell asleep. And when he woke up, he was laying on a cot, covered with a blanket. There was a guy there. And the guy said to him, I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you were able to escape. And he said, well, where am I? He said, well, I brought you this little cottage where, I'm going to be taking care of you until you get well. But he was so tormented by his old thoughts and by his memories of being in the prison and by the sense of belonging that he had when he was in the prison, And now he's out here alone with just this one guy, but the guy's real kind to him. And as he gets better and better and better, finally he said, I have to go back to the prison and see if I can get some other people out. So he goes back to the prison, and when he looks down from upon this hill, and he looks down at the prison, he sees the people while going around, and he sees them going in and out of their cells. What he doesn't see is any walls. There is no prison. So he goes down and goes inside, and he tries to convince them. There's no walls. You can get out. You can have freedom to be. But they saw the walls, and they refused to hear him. So eventually, very sadly, he went back out of the prison, and he went back to the cottage. And when he got back to the cottage, the guy that was there was all packed up in his pack, and he had the pack on his back. And he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm leaving." He said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to the next level." He said, "But you can't leave me here." And he said, "I am going to leave you here. I'm going to the next level. You have to stay and take care of the next person coming out." This is our comfort zone. This is our routine. This is what we think is reality, and it's not. It's an illusion. Everything that we think we're not is an illusion. And the illusions keep us trapped. Now, there are some steps that we can take to get our thinking straightened out, to end our self-talk, because our self-talk is what keeps us captured. And these are not difficult steps. They're actually pretty simple. But without them, we can't get the universe's support. And without that support, we can't get free. We can't make our dreams come true. So we have to be harnessed with the universe. We can't just be doing it on our own, because we are the universe. And that's what you learn when you get outside the walls, is that there are no walls. We are the universe. We are all that there is. And the universal intelligence and wisdom is flowing through us. Now, I've been teaching this in one form or another for almost 50 years. And I've had tens of thousands of students in many countries. And I've watched miracles happen again and again. I've watched as a young guy who wanted to play professional baseball was drafted into a major league team. I watched as a wannabe actor got leading roles. I watched couples become successful business owners. I've watched people create the relationships they wanted. Watched people in poverty become wealthy. Watched people who had potentially fatal diseases heal themselves. Author Ray Bennett says to us, don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart. So the lessons of the past few weeks have greatly helped us reach our level of success, our ability to get outside. And today we enter a new chapter. We start sending only those thoughts and beliefs to the universe that express and affirm what we truly want to do, to be, and to have. And I say truly because in my experience, there's a lot of people who say what they want, and yet their lives never change at all. And the reason is simple. The universe is mirroring their thoughts and beliefs back to them. There's a guy waiting in a cabin. All you have to do is go through the wall. Here's an example. A made-up name, Molly Pritchard, was raised in a family that didn't see her worth at all. She grew up believing she was less. After all, her parents were much smarter than she was, and if she'd been worthy and capable, surely they'd have known that. Surely they'd have seen that, and they'd have told her that. But she deserved her dreams to come true. And yet she was stuck. Her opinions and beliefs are in complete opposition to what she wants in this situation. The universe isn't listening to her frustrations, to her wants. It's mirroring back to her thoughts and her beliefs. So here's how Molly changed her life. She changed her life in two excellent ways. Two. One, she wrote out a phrase that owned who she wanted to be, owned it, and repeated that hundreds of times a day for 30 days. Hundreds of times a day for 30 days. And she began to gradually see an opening in the wall. The bricks were falling away. For 30 days, she said hundreds of times a day, I am a valuable, capable, and successful woman. I am a valuable, capable, and successful woman. I am a valuable, capable, and successful woman. That was step number one in changing her self-talk. Step number two was to begin living her affirmation, living as though her dreams are actually coming true, using her imagination, embracing a life unfolding exactly the way she wanted it to unfold. And she also had to be very careful, didn't she? Because if she was saying her affirmation, if she was saying, uh, I am a valuable, capable, successful woman, in order to stop being invaluable, incapable, and unsuccessful, if she was saying that for those reasons, then what she was doing is reaffirming those old walls. She was focusing on the things she was trying to change. You can't do that because you just keep reaffirming that you're stuck. And what you're trying to do is getting unstuck. And you can't try, you have to do. So she did her affirmations and she pretended that they were true. She imagined that they were true. In the beginning, it was difficult. In the beginning, there was a part of her that was saying, wait a minute, what are you doing? This is nonsense. This isn't true. Don't believe this stuff. But she kept doing it. And eventually that voice quieted and quieted. And then the rocks and the walls began to fall away. International spiritual leader Patricia Moreno said, you don't have to wait for life to change to feel better. Feel better and your life will change. Teaching in Asia, I met a woman who was diagnosed with terminal cancer, terminal metastasized cancer, given only months to live. After she began changing her thinking through reciting and practicing her affirmations of health and worthiness, she became cancer-free. Her doctors were baffled, and she told them her affirmation, I deserve to be happy and completely well. I deserve to be happy and completely well. So, my dear friend, do you really believe there's a power in the world, a power in the universe flowing through all things? Do you really believe that? If you think about it, isn't there an energy? Isn't there a force flowing through everything? Flowing through trees, flowing through the wind, flowing through the snow and the rain and the seas and life itself? Isn't there something powerful, energy, intelligent flowing through all of that? And it's also flowing through you right now. If you can find the courage to be renewed today, to be equal to your dreams, to be different than you've pretended to be, then you can find a hole in the wall and you can be set free. All it takes is for you to begin communicating to your universe thoughts and beliefs that honor the truth of you. The truth of you. The young American poet and activist, Amanda Gorman, in her beautiful inaugural poem, oh gosh, If you haven't heard that, you need to go listen to it. Amanda Gorman, when President Biden was being inaugurated, he asked her to say this poem, The Hill We Climb. And in that poem, it ends with, here is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Remember, we have a meditation on YouTube. That's our weekly meditation. Just go to Bob Trask's weekly meditation. My book, Up She Falls, is out now and doing well. Get a copy, write a review for me. And if this talk has been meaningful for you, would you mind going to my website, bobtrask.com, and leaving a donation? I sure appreciate it. If you have time to hang around for a while, we're going to be discussing what we talked about today. And if you have to go, I understand, and go with my blessings and with my love, and I'll see you next week.